sheltered places, supporting a mosaic of habitats for wildlife. You may spot cattle grazing and sheep across the hills, along with rabbits, foxes and badgers moving through the grasslands. Chalk coastline also supports flowering plants such as honeysuckle, sweetbriar and hawthorn. Centuries of human settlements have shaped this landscape, but the land has also shaped the people who lived around here. For many, these downs have carried a spiritual significance, a place of reflection, stories, and occasionally a few darker legends. Local folklore tells of covens gathering across the downs, and artefacts have occasionally been discovered on Beachy Head, including carved candle holders and spoons marked with the Roman numeral 13. However, unlike some other parts of Britain, there is no historical record of witch trials or executions in this part of Sussex, quite a contrast to places such as Essex, where hundreds of witchcraft accusations were recorded. Sometimes the downs seem to hold on to their secrets, and the stories continue to drift across the hills with the wind. Beachy Head also hosts a number of unusual sporting events throughout the year. These include the Beachy Head 10K, marathon, and even an ultramarathon across the downs. One of the most distinctive events is the annual penny farthing cycling race, the only race of its kind where riders compete on traditional penny farthing bicycles with wheel diameters of more than 46 inches. It's a curious blend of Victorian nostalgia and modern endurance sport. Ahead, we are approaching a lighthouse that has lived many lives. The name Beltude is often thought to be French, but is most likely derived from Celtic roots, possibly combining words associated with war and lookout points. A temporary structure was first built here in 1828 by local benefactor Mad Jack Fuller, where early lighting experiments were carried out. It proved successful enough that the lighthouse was rebuilt in stone in 1832, using granite and local limestone. The lighthouse was manned day and night by 2 keepers until it was replaced by the nearby Beachy Head Lighthouse in the early 20th century. But the story did not end there. Over the years, Beltude became a private home, a tea room, and even survived Second World War damage. It also appeared on screen, featuring in productions such as the BBC series The Life and Loves of a She-Devil, and in the James Bond film The Living Daylights. Perhaps the most remarkable chapter came in 1999, when the 160-year-old lighthouse was moved around 56 feet inland, using hydraulic rails to save it from coastal erosion. Today, Beltude operates as a unique bed and breakfast, one of the most unusual places to stay on the British coastline. This is the stop for Beltude Lighthouse.
No, però bisogna sempre salire in dopo, c'è una
As we continue towards Birling Gap, you are surrounded by some of the most spectacular coastal scenery in the country. Ahead lie the famous Seven Sisters Cliffs, including landmarks such as Haven Brow, Chalk Brow, Rough Brow, Brass Point, Platt Hill, also known as Flagstaff Point, and Went Hill Brow. These brilliant white cliffs are constantly shaped by wind and sea, reminding us that the coastline is never truly still. If you wish to walk down to the shoreline, there is a staircase providing access to the beach below. The current steps were installed in 1996, replacing an earlier damaged structure, and have since been adjusted and repaired as the coastal erosion continues to reshape the cliff line. However, access can be affected by weather and storm damage, so please check signage or the National Trust website before attempting to use the steps. natural forces shaping this landscape. Haven Brow, rising to around 77 metres, is the highest of the Seven Sisters, offering some of the most dramatic views along the south coast. Look to your left and you will see the famous Berlin Gap cottages. Originally built in 1878 as part of the Coast Guard station to which the dangerous waters near Beachy Head. There were once 8 cottages standing here along the cliff edge. Over time, coastal erosion claimed 4 of them, the most recent being carefully demolished in 2014 as the cliff line changed. Despite local myths, none of the cottages have ever fallen from the cliff. They have been safely removed as the land itself has retreated. Today you will also find the National Trust Tea Room and shop nearby, offering refreshments whilst you take in the view. This is the stop for the National Trust site, Berlin Gap. Across the open downland landscape. Each year, millions of migrating birds pass across this coastline, including kestrels, swallows, crows, and seagulls. Although the gulls, as many seaside towns know, are quite nocturnal, sometimes even helping themselves to a The South Downs here purpose by Eastbourne Corporation helping to preserve more than 4,000 acres of land, continues to shape the town. Eastbourne's history also includes always visitors in ones we have already heard. King Charles III visited Seven Sisters to launch the King Charles III Coastal Park, stretching nearly 2,700 miles along the coastline. Estimates to take around a year to walk. Are recorded to stay in the town, Henry I and Edward II, who are believed to have lodged near the manor house in the area named the Goffs. The Goffs was once, until recently, home to the Plaza Cinema, which was sadly destroyed by fire. Today, the site is occupied by a supermarket, but nearby you can still find one of the earliest Victorian all-mounted stocks. A small, everyday history, quietly beside
something in my life. The ticket just says Eastbourne.
Eastbourne's coastline and downland scenery have long inspired writers. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was particularly fond of the area, and it is believed he spent much time walking the roads and corridors around Eastbourne during his later life. The landscape played a role in the story of Sherlock Holmes, who, in the world of fiction, is said to have retired to a cottage near Eastbourne, where a blue plaque commemorates this. Although the exact location remains a mystery, left deliberately vague by Conan Doyle himself. Several Eastbourne locations are marked with blue plaques celebrating literary visitors. Lewis Carroll holidayed in Eastbourne many times, from 1877 onwards, whilst George Orwell studied locally at the former St Cyprian School. Charles Dickens also visited the town, and is known to have taken part in the theatrical performances of Arthur Lambert during his travels. Some of the Eastbourne sightseeing buses even carry the names of famous authors, continuing the town's literary heritage. As you travel on, take the stories of this end of the book, and perhaps add a few of your own. For every visitor adds a different chapter in this beautiful corner of the South Coast. On your left is the community of Easton, a village that can trace its history back more than 1,000 years. The village is named in legend to Saxon king and remains a beautiful home of the downright Essex settlers. At the centre of the village is the green, surrounded by traditional buildings, a village hall, and the weekly markets where everyone is invited from around 7 stalls selling local produce, crafts, and fresh food. Sport also plays an important role in village life. The East Dean and Friston Cricket and Strawberry Club is a local hub for community sport, continuing the long Sussex tradition of cricket and the older regional game of strawberry. This is the stop for Easton Village and the Tiger Inn. Alight here for services 12, 12A and 12X towards Seven Sisters Country Park and Brighton. Children were evacuated from London and East Walsall between 1942 and 1943. Fighter bomber attacks lived in family. One day in December 1942, 32 people lost their lives. By the end of the war, the town had 112 graves, raising more than 11,000 bodies damaged to in 1945, more than 40,000 evacuated residents returned to front parts of the town. As we head back towards Easton, the road to your left leads towards Old Town. The street names Summer Road and Old Camp Road are among the last reminders of the Summerdown Convalescent Camp. Opened in 1950, it was one of Britain's largest wartime recovery camps, treating more than 150,000 wounded soldiers in the First World War. The men were affectionately known as the Boys in Blue due to the uniforms they wore, helping distinguish them from the Weather Weekly,
Always been that the grand person asked the grand has nothing else
Summer
to
Down
do.
also has its own entity,
Then he shouted out
forming weekly concerts for the recovering soldiers. One of the most popular performers was dance Corporal unedited, who appeared in drag as Sundown Kate. First mentioned in the Eastern Gazette in 1915, Kate quickly became a crowd favourite. A postcard from the time shows him dressed in a silk and floral hat with a message written back. A sort of late evening at the Wigan Soldiers' Camp. He does not seem at all ill. Despite the laughter, Chip's turns will still a soldier, and once recovered, he would have been expected to return to military service. What became of Summerdown Kate afterwards remains a mystery.
Even though we were all in the talking room, that's ridiculous.